It's not about agreement, it's about direction.
And the car?
It was never just a car. Scoritas. Darkness. Brabus has spent a decade building something they've never done before, and I got to witness it through the eyes of an old friend. What started as simply visit for him after 10 years turned into something much deeper. Watching a son turn legacy, grief, and obsession into something physical leaves you with a different kind of respect. Hey, what up,
How
dog?
are you?
How you doing, man?
Hi, Moby.
You good?
Yes,
Good to see you,
absolutely.
man.
Good to see you.
How are
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, appreciate you, man. How's everything?
Absolutely fine.
Yeah?
Absolutely fine.
How have you been? Tell me, man. It's been years.
It's work. Non-stop.
How long has it been exactly?
Since I took over the company?
Yeah.
It was April 2018.
2018.
It's been 8 years now.
Dude, you've been ghosting me since 2018.
I know, and
What the fuck?
I
just had to pop in.
I've literally been ghosting.
Yeah.
I have been ghosting everybody, partly including myself. I can tell
Yeah.
you, it's been, and it is still a super wild ride.
You look fresh. You don't look as if it's a hell of a ride.
I mean, that's the thing. If you get the chance to to build on that kind of legacy, there is no saying no. But on the other hand, you have to press the pedal to the metal and just go. When I took over the business, there were a lot of things to do. My father passed away very suddenly. I had a stroke. I didn't know whether the business would survive. I didn't know what we should or could do at the time, and I was literally going day to day. I think it took us about half a year to a year to get the business sort of floating and running smoothly again. And from then on, I was able to give it a bit of a new energy. My positions were pretty much known before. I was in the business. I was part of the leadership of the business. But of course, it's
a step up. You have to fulfill a legacy.
Exactly.
Now.
He always used to say, you can't simulate the first row.
Yeah.
You cannot simulate being in charge.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly what that meant. The sleepless nights come included. They come with the package, and it's good that they do, because my job here is to be the one that ultimately makes the decisions and kind of guides the team into one of many possible futures.
I mean, dog, I'm happy to see you. Thanks for letting me, see all of this, giving me insights. But obviously, you know why I had to come all the way.
You wanted to see something new.
Well, let's talk about something first, bro. As you probably know, I've seen already something.
You've seen something? Oh,
what
you mean
happened?
Oh, that. Oh,
yeah.
That's just what happens.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna be very honest. Bro, it was all over the internet for one day. Tell me about this, bro.
I think the car that I'm going to show you later, number one, it is a project that is super special to me. It's something that the car we're about to launch is thinking about and talking about for the better part of a decade. It is named after my father for a reason, because I discussed it with him and our team so many times.
Wait, so the car is called Bodo?
The car is called Bodo.
Wow.
It's called Brabus Bodo. Many people think it's going to be called Brabus 77 because there's a bit of a special logo theme going on, but it's not. It's going to be called Brabus Bodo. We've discussed it intensely in the team. I had to get used to it, to be honest. On the one hand, we couldn't find a better story because it turned out that that was the story. It was a car. It's a car that we've been working on in our heads, on the design, on the idea, on everything that it stands for, since discussing it with my father. And of course, apart from being an extremely emotional project and a very emotional kind of story for me, it also just has to work as a name. And that's what we discussed. Everybody ultimately agreed that it's the only statement that we want to make for the product, and also to honor his legacy. And so it's named Brabus Bodo. And what you saw online is actually it was a leak that happened while the car was being, I think one of the prototypes was being repainted, things that happen on a regular basis. And somebody, I think a kid saw it, somebody who was working there as an intern or an apprentice.
And he just snapped the picture.
He saw it, snapped the picture, put it up on Reddit. And said, hey, can somebody, I see that it's a Brabus, but I don't know what it is. Can you guys tell me what it is? So you can't even blame the kid, and I don't, It's just that I think part of it is a compliment, because somebody was interested, somebody saw the brand, recognized it, uploaded it because he was so interested in seeing what it is. And unfortunately, that was the wrong moment to do it.
That's why I wanted to ask, you know how much I love cars. So you're telling me that it's finished?
It's finished. So we're going to release it into the wild.
Why are we here then?
It's
you gotta show me.
It's finished.
I don't care.
And I'm super excited to show you.
Can we?
There's actually as you know, there's a floor below. The ground floor that is hidden away from the public. It's our prototype lab.
I know.
And that's where it is right now.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go right now.
Man, I'm so excited. You can't even know. Like it's insane. So this is the area, huh?
This is Brabus X, our prototype lab.
Bro, are you serious? Bro, it's insane. I've seen a lot of people talk about Batmobiles. This is the one.
Thanks. Glad you like it.
Bro, it's insane. Well, okay. Talk me through it. First of all, the back end, the side view. Why? It's so long, it's so elongated. At the same time, it's so wide. Explain it to me. What happened here?
So the basic idea is to build a very large, high presence coupe. What I talked about and discussed many times with my father 8 years, 10 years, 12 years ago, was how can we build a car that is a large coupe, that has a lot of power, and that looks good, whether it's standing still or driving. And we were very much inspired by different things. For once, if you look at the back, it's got this very long and ducked down stance. This very long shapes.
It makes it look as if it's racing, but it's just standing.
Exactly. The inspiration very clearly comes from the 1920s, 1930s coach building era. At the same time, in the back you can see it's got a lot of muscle, it's got a lot of curvature, both in the back and in the front. Interesting enough, the central line of the car is this one here. It is what we call the Bodo line.
What do you mean central line?
This line. So it's the line that literally starts at the back of the car and goes all the way from the back to the front. And if you look at it from the front of the car on both sides, this line is what gives the car the shape. This is what gives it its shape. So the discussion, the philosophy of this car is revolving all around presence.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be racing while standing still, if you know what I mean.
It does, yeah.
And it's, we wanted you to be able to look at the car to simply walk around the car and have a few different experiences. On the back, you've got the lights, the very organic back. You have the single letters that are integrated into the lighting design of the car.
Well, is it 3D?
Yes, they're individual single lights. This logo on the back of the car is actually both a geographical reference to where we come from and historical reference at the same time. So where we are in what we call the Ruhrgebiet, the Ruhr River area.
Yeah.
A bit of a weird translation in English. It's North Rhine-Westphalia, essentially, is an area that is built on coal mining. And wherever you drive, you're going to see the towers that are shaped like this, with which they used to transport the miners underground and up again.
Yeah.
And that's the shape. At the same time, 77 is 1977, which is the year Brabus was founded. And so we took the 77, inverted it to create the geographical and historical reference. What this means is this car is produced here in Bottrop. Any other car that is produced, any other thing that is produced anywhere else in the world that carries the Brabus brand will not have that logo. This is purely reserved for Brabus masterpieces. They're literally built, physically built here. Yeah. And then of course the integrated exhaust. You've got the active aero element that is hidden away until you need it. It only comes out at certain speeds. And then if you've got this very, very elegant back, then you see, you know, the big wheels in the car. And then here when you look at the car from the 20-25 degree angle on the front, stand by stand, something happened. It goes from elegant to super mean, and then back to elegant in 1 second. So it changes. It's a car that changes character when you walk around it 3 or 4 times. And now look at this line here. Suddenly, it looks like a completely decked out Need for Speed
race car.
A race car.
Yeah.
For 1 second, and then you take one step to the side, and it's gone. You're back to an elegant 2+2.
I feel you.
2+2 Grand Tour.
Bro, this is such a deep design.
And for example, if you look at the body of the car, this is of course full carbon fiber. It's split in the middle, so every single side, the front fender, if you will, is not only the front fender, but it's the whole front left design, the whole front right design is one very large carbon fiber piece. There is no interruption. Normally you'd have an interruption about here.
True, you'd have a line right there.
That is not the case. And so we have that split in the middle, and it serves to give the car even more of a special look.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got the inset bonnet that is 2-part, and it serves to make the car longer and give it more presence in the front, because it goes down, has a little bit of a power dome, but not too much.
And that gives it at the same time some air vents out here, right? Yeah, I got you. Oh, it's an insane design. Okay, the front. What is the idea behind this big ass single frame grille?
It needs a lot of air.
Okay, what is it that needs a lot of air?
It is a V12, 1,000 horsepower engine. It's got a big motor.
That's what I'm talking about.
There is somebody. We should actually bring it to the picture when we talk about this.
When we talk about the engine, yeah.
Jörn, come in.
Hi.
Hey, man.
You're coming at exactly the right moment.
How are you doing, man?
Hello.
Hi, good to meet you.
So, of course, Jörn and his team are behind all the tech and the design of this car, and he's the absolute best person to talk about what's under the bonnet and how it drives.
All right.
So I'll leave you guys to it.
Let's do it.
See you later.
Catch you later, bro. Let's talk about the engine. Like, what are we looking at here when it comes to engine and power and delivery?
I think we all agree that the V12 is still the highest goal you can reach for a combustion engine, so we choose for that. It is a 5.2 liter V12 with bi-turbo system, so we have 2 turbochargers on each side of the engine.
Actually have a look at the engine?
Yeah, for sure, we can. What is beside the engine is quite interesting, that the engine is located quite behind the front axle. So it is a front mid-engine layout.
Which helps with the
weight distribution.
Do you have like a 50-50 weight distribution?
Yeah, it's not exactly 50-50, it's 51 and 49, so close by.
Yeah.
But that helps a lot, you know, 1,200 Newton meter maximum torque and the 1,000 horsepower maximum engine power. It is always enough to steer the car by the rear axle. That is the simple thing.
I could tell.
Yeah. For sure, we have a very good safety system. So we have traction control, we have stability control. So the car is safe to drive off also for people that are not so experienced driver.
Yeah.
But it, again, you know, when it's very wet or damp condition, you will always have traction control interfering. But that makes also one part of the joy to drive this machine, because this is pure driving.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the only way to actually build the proper, you know, GT V12. It needs to be rear-wheel driven, because, I mean, let's be honest. Someone that wants to drive this, someone that wants to own it, is someone that loves cars. It's purist, right? And that's a pure driving form.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. And again, this layout here, you see the air filter boxes. They're collecting the air from the front. distributed to the turbocharger here. You see the intercooler, the water-air intercooler system. Left on the right hand, these black boxes, and then the big air take manifold in the center.
So how high does this thing rev?
Quite good. You know, it's still a comfortable GT engine, so it's
Yeah.
not a race engine, but
Yeah.
the maximum RPMs in 7,000 RPM. We have the power at roughly 6,500 RPM, so the 1,000 horsepower are coming with 6,500 RPM. So you have the 500 extra, what is quite nice to
Yeah.
drive, and
Yeah.
you really accelerate full. You have an 8-speed automatic transmission, what is located on the rear axle.
Is it like a dual clutch or like a traditional?
No, it's a traditional torque
Okay.
converter
Okay.
version.
Great.
Because a dual clutch with 1,200 Newton meter
It's
is
gonna
a
be
challenge.
tricky. Yeah, it's gonna be tricky.
Is a challenge. So,
Yeah.
but it's transaxle, so located on the rear.
So let's talk about like how you guys made sure this car with over 1,200 Newton meters, how it stays planted, right? Because you need to find a way to make sure all this power stays planted.
Especially on the high speed. You know,
Exactly.
you need a very good downforce distribution.
Yes.
That is a car, what not like a typical super sport car that is looking for maximum downforce. As you have, for example, an extreme car would be a Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
Yeah.
What is, I think, a downforce monster in some way. That is not the goal here.
I mean,
But
it's a GT in the end, right?
correct, but you have, as you say, it has to be stable. And what I can say is the top speed is 360 kilometers per hour. On our 360, and our test driver set always on a closed racetrack, test track, yeah, with all the safety figures in place, one hand on the steering.
Easy going.
Yeah, correct. And there it's important
Damn.
that you find a good compromise between lift and downforce front to rear axle. That is also the reason we have movable wing at the rear.
Yeah.
So we have adjustable aerodynamic figures on the rear, so that we can really balance the car regarding the downforce distribution front to rear.
I mean, show me how you actually, because I mean, I'm a kid that loves cars. And I've driven quite a few cars, and some, even though they have the power, even though they look planted, they don't feel planted when you drive them at higher speeds. So if you don't mind, just show me like what is it that it actually takes you guys to do? What are the things that you actually need to think about to make sure you can drive 360 with one hand?
Yeah, but it is in the end the general shape of the car. The front splitter here on place, what generate a lot of downforce. Then it's the way how we distribute the air to the radiator and away from the radiator in the wheel arch or over this exits here in the bonnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you close it, correct? You see here we have the air exits here, what creating the airflow
Okay.
behind the radiators over the bonnet and the rest of that. In the end, it is, you know, all these things are small adjustment in the design and the aerodynamic development. What we did with simulation, and after that with a model, one-to-one model in the wind tunnel. So we go to the different wind tunnels. For example, we make different sessions in the Pininfarina wind tunnel in Torino. We stay with the university in Stuttgart. We use the wind tunnel from Toyota in Cologne, what is famous for their Formula One racing activities. So we use these different wind tunnels combined with CFD simulation to optimize the form. For example, the complete underfloor of the car, it's covered. So
Completely
it is
covered.
Flat underfloor, complete covered. And also some small things. We have some spoilers in the front of the wheels. And then big diffuser to extend the air then behind the car. And with that you also create downforce with this accelerated airflow what goes under the car and create these forces then. Yeah. So it is not only the shape, it is not only the wing, that is, I think, the sum of all the details that make the car so good to drive under high speed.
So, and I mean, when we look at it from the side, you have this very fluid, dynamic line. And it's very, elongated. Let's put it like this.
Unnecessary. Honestly speaking, unnecessary.
Very
long.
honest. But beautiful.
Yeah.
Extremely beautiful. Did that make it easier for you guys, or did it make it more difficult to ensure absolute peak driving dynamics?
Honestly speaking, yes and no. It's both answer because, this form in January create a very good low drag coefficient. So a lower drag it created by this form, with this long tail. But also this kind of rear create lift.
Exactly.
And that we have to compensate with. That is the reason we have the wing. As I said, it helps for the drag, but it didn't help for the lift. It is opposite.
Okay, so let's talk about the driving modes, because you said your favorite is GT. So what do we have for options here?
In general, we have the GT, what is the main starting driving mode, what I think is the most comfortable and enjoyable mode. It is never different regarding the power. So it didn't matter if you have GT or Sport Plus. It's always a 1,200 Newton meter and 1,000 horsepower.
Okay.
But it is one way of combination. That the drive is not so aggressive. So, for example, throttle response is different.
Okay.
Steering response is different. So we have the GT, as I think, as a normal driving mode, very comfortable. We have the Sport and the Sport Plus mode, what gives always extra spiciness in the system, I would say. Describe it like that. So that is for the drive, exhaust, steering and suspension, where you can also choose the different modes. What is also quite good for the drive train is the wet mode, because it make it very decent connection between the throttle pedal and the real throttle position in the engine. So then you have a very flat and very gentle torque supply, what make it much easier to drive and more relaxed under wet condition. Because
so
again,
very smooth, slow power delivery.
Correct.
So to say.
Correct.
Understood.
Very smooth and very controllable.
Okay.
Because in wet.
Yeah, I get you. The way I used to drive my car all the time, my car is a 850i BMW.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I do. And that's what I love and what I miss on many different other cars. I put the engine on Sport Plus, which gives me the maximum torque very early, very sharp response on the pedal, right? But I still have my transmission in comfort.
Yeah, on for example, suspension and comfort. That is also possible.
Yeah.
To have you can personalize your driving as you describe it. You say engine maximum sportiness, and the rest more decent comfort, but everything. So you can set your driving modes and combine the different programs together to what.
To what I actually want.
Correct.
Because I mean, some sort of individuality and how do I say that? A lot of manufacturers do give you the option to have a drive mode that is a bit individual, but then at the same time it's very restrictive. For like when I put the engine on Sport, the steering has to be on Sport as well, the transmission has to be on Sport as well, and maybe I can adjust the suspension. And I think that's very restriction. If you have a car like that, I feel like you wanna drive it exactly the way that you want to drive it. Right?
Absolutely, and you have to be independent.
Exactly. Okay, my final question to you, Jörn. What is your favorite thing about this car? I mean, you've worked so much probably on this car. What is your favorite part?
Super simple. Driving it. Enjoying it, driving it. Use it, because it is not for a museum. It's for pleasure and driving pleasure.
It's a car that deserves to be driven, yeah. It's about driving.
In the end, it's always about driving.
It's always about driving.
Yeah. And maybe after a nice drive, sitting in a cafe.
And looking at it.
Correct.
There we go.
Upstairs.
Yes.